Now, our next topic is called resources. When you and your friends have a problem, where do you go? What do you do? Who do you talk to? It's all about having good resources. So we went to pull up on our next guest, Victor McKenzie. Thank you for joining me, sir.
Absolutely, man. Glad I could do it.
Let's jump straight in, man.
Sure.
These young people really need resources when it comes to fighting off the peer pressure associated with opioids.
Right.
What are some resources that young people can tap into, numbers they can call, people they can reach out to who can really help them fight this pressure to use opioids?
Sure, man. One of my first go-to ones is the Department of Behavioral Health. They have a health access warm line, 24/7. You call it, there's a peer or a professional on the other side of that line. You can call them, you can ask them anything. Chances are they'll be able to give you a service you can connect with, a resource. They can give you some talking points, and they can just give you some general advice. It's all confidential as well.
Okay.
Another one, man, is Drug-Free Youth in DC. It is a cool database where they just provide just a ton of educational resources, treatment options, different language on like just how do you even bring up the conversation of like, man, I think I have a problem, right? And so it gives you all these cool tips on how to access that.
So when you talk about these resources, the next question is, what does it take for the student to have the confidence that they can actually reach out and know that their information is going to be protected? No one wants to feel like, you know what, I reached out and these people told all my business and now, you know, I don't feel like I can trust them anymore.
Well, that's the wonderful thing, man. Anonymity. It is completely confidential.
Okay.
So all of these resources
That's
in
big.
the city is completely confidential. So sometimes you don't even have to give your name, man. If you just want to just pour it all out on the line, you can just make that call.
Wow. So as we sit here today, I'm curious, like, why are you passionate about this type of work specifically? You could be doing so many other things with your life, as we were talking about off the camera.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Why are you passionate about helping young people fight off opioids and all that type of stuff?
Man, just the community I grew up in. These resources weren't around, and we lost so many. I've lost friends. You know, we have individuals who've lost family members, all because of just the stigma, not wanting even to talk about it. And I think that's like such a courageous first step. It's just being able to talk about addiction, talk about substance use, whether you're in it, whether it's a family, a friend. And so that's why I do it.
That's
to
why
change that narrative.
Gotcha. So I love your why, and I'm looking at you, I'm getting to know you, and I'm like, you're a success story. What was your why? Like, how were you able to actually not become a negative statistic?
Yeah, man. I had great mentors, right?
Okay.
And I had great resources. Like we're talking about resources
Yeah.
right now. I had great organizations who just backed me, like the Boys and Girls Club, right? That kept me off of the street, that kept me from some of that peer pressure. So when I did face it, man, I was able to call up a mentor. Hey, man, Mr. Jones, you know, they getting into this. I don't know how to navigate that. Don't worry, Vic, I'll come pick you up. And so it's because of people like that, resources like that, that I was able to avoid some of the situations and environments that I was in and able to kind of get to where I'm in now and have like that type of impact. So I want to make sure that I'm able and my organization is able to change that narrative for as many people as we can.
Victor.
Yeah.
When someone is in the trenches, when they are addicted to something, when they are caught, you know, entrenched in some battle that they can't seem to fight out of, it starts with a decision that they want to change. I'm not sure if it's opioids or if it's something else, but have you ever been in that situation where you've been entrenched in a battle and the first thing was you had to decide and you had to have the courage to change? Because I'm curious what you could tell people to help them make that initial decision that I want better for my life.
You're not alone. That's that first one. As soon as you make that decision to better yourself and make that first step, you are walking with a whole bunch of people behind you. It's lonely being in the trenches, man. And the people that you think are your friends, are a part of it with you doing some of those bad behaviors, they're not really with you on it. But that moment you make that decision, and it's hard, but you know, back to what we talked about earlier, not forgetting where you came from, but knowing where you're going.
That's it. And before I let you go, bro, let's come full circle. You spoke on resources.
Yeah.
Once again, I want you to name those resources that you said at the beginning of the interview that young people can actually tap into if they're struggling with opioids right now.
Absolutely, man. One of the most important things is to get help as quick as possible. So that's why I always recommend the Department of Behavioral Health, their help access warm line. So that's 24/7. No matter what you're going through, you can call that. Somebody's going to be on the other line, and even if it's just somebody to talk to, right? And provide some services. If you're in the city, each ward has a prevention treatment center where you can just roll up to, you can tell them what's going on. Once again, confidential. Treatment is confidential. So you can just go there and just talk about what's happening. If you want to do a first visit, you go in there, you have that conversation, and they'll recommend, what are your next steps? Because it's so challenging. Like, what do you do next? I recognize something, but I don't know what to do next. Man, go down there. And all of it is a part of the DC's Adolescents Abuse Services program. So it's, there's a lot of funding and resources backed around just prevention from substance use.
Cool. Brother, thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you.